everyone, my name is Annie Cooper, Oxygen Elite Ambassador, and welcome to my kitchen. So today I wanted to share with you guys one of my favorite recipes, which is a cauliflower fried rice recipe. And the reason why I chose this is because I make it almost every night when you are rushed for time and you just want to make something quick, you want to get it done. It can be family friendly, it can be for yourself, for lunch, for dinner, for a snack, whatever you need, and it's so easy to make and there's a ton of variation. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by heating up a pan, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit about nutrition as we start. So this meal is very low carb, so it's a cauliflower rice base, but if you're someone who likes high carb or you're having this as maybe a pre-workout or post-workout meal, then I'd recommend replacing the cauliflower rice for white or brown rice, or maybe adding that into the base of the dish. And then as far as the protein goes on top, we're gonna add shrimp on top. But if you're someone who's a vegan, vegetarian, you can also replace the shrimp with tofu, with tempeh. You can get rid of it completely and you can add something, maybe take out the egg and make it more vegetarian. Or you can replace the shrimp with something like chicken or steak. It's all delicious. Same thing goes with vegetables. If you wanna make it more into a stir-fry version, change up the vegetables, you can do that too. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray the pan with olive oil spray first. So the reason why I don't use regular olive oil, you can if you'd like to, but 1 tablespoon of olive oil is over 100 calories for a very small amount, and it's really gonna bump up your fat intake. So when you're someone who likes to keep your calories a little bit lower, then I'd recommend using cooking spray. Now, of course, olive oil is gonna make it taste a little bit better, so you can use that as well. So we're gonna spray the pan with some olive oil cooking spray. And so I have everything kind of portioned out. So if you want to buy things and make it easy for yourself, buy things that are pre-cut, pre-chopped, you can totally do that. I went ahead and chopped up some onions, some carrots, and then I have green peas all ready to go in a dish. And then I got ready to go rice cauliflower, but what you can do as well is you can get regular cauliflower and you can blend it or put it in a food processor and it'll make it into a rice cauliflower version. We're making it easy and we're just gonna buy the bag. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our onions. Okay, so we're gonna add it to our pan. We're waiting for this to heat up a little bit. All right guys, so I have someone helping me so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So I have some onions in here and we're just kind of, sauteing it around. Okay, so we're waiting for that to heat up a little bit. So the reason why I add my onions and we'll add the carrots next is because those take a really long time to cook. So we'll add those first, let it cook for a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and add the carrots. So, and this is on medium heat. You don't wanna burn it, of course. When you're cooking vegetables, I recommend cooking it at a medium-low heat. Not super high, you don't wanna burn it, and also that's gonna allow it to cook a little bit better. So adding our onions first. And guys, so I make a lot of my food, I track my macros, basically your protein, carbs, and fats. And so I kind of go based on, my macro ratios for each meal. So I want to get a solid portion of carbs in, a solid portion of fats, and then some protein. So we're going to add eggs to this as well. So an egg has a good amount of fat, a little bit of protein. We're going to add our shrimp on top, protein. And a lot of people don't know this or don't think about it, I guess, but vegetables are considered carbs. So things like, carrots, peas, cauliflower, those are starchier vegetables. So those are carb sources, technically. So, but if you want a little bit extra carbs, go ahead and add some rice. So we're gonna add our carrots next. So I have some diced carrots here. I just peeled it and then I diced it into small pieces. If you wanna dice them a little bit smaller than this, you can, but I made them a little bit bigger. So you can do whatever your personal preference is, and we're gonna go ahead and add that to the pan as well. Onions and carrots here. All right, so gonna let that cook for a little bit. You can take notes on this. You don't have to be cooking with me. I'm sure most of you aren't anyways. All right, so we're gonna let this cook for a little bit. Probably shouldn't stir it with my hands. See, I always try to make things so quick. All right, guys, so the next thing that we are going to do is we're gonna add a little bit of chopped garlic. Okay, so I have fresh garlic here. If you wanna add minced garlic, that's okay too. Gonna add a little bit of fresh garlic in here and let that simmer. All right. And so I do have 2 pans because I'm gonna be cooking the shrimp separate. So we're gonna do that in a little bit. So we're gonna let this cook. So it is noon here in Florida, so I'm actually gonna have this as my lunch. So I do something called intermittent fasting. So I will actually fast until about 11 or noon, and then I'll have my first meal. And it's great for my digestion. I've seen such good results. Some people don't like doing that. If you're someone who will work out first thing in the morning, then I do recommend having something in your system, or maybe eating something right after you work out, post-workout, or an hour after you work out max, just to have something in your system for energy and just to refuel and recover. So for me personally, I don't work out first thing in the morning. I work out more afternoon, evening. So intermittent fasting works great for me. So I'm actually gonna have this as my first meal. I know it sounds weird, but I'm gonna have this as my first meal, and then I kind of have my snack next, and I'll have something like maybe a protein shake, maybe a salad, something with more carbs, because this is very low carb. And then that's kind of how I plan out my day, and I'll kind of, have a dinner full of carbs, fats, and then I'll have, another snack after that. So I usually eat about 4 times a day. And you can do, whatever you want. If you want to have a bigger portion of this as well, go for it. It's all based on your personal preference. So we're letting this cook a little bit. All right, so in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and heat up the other pan for the shrimp. And so this shrimp, I did make things very easy. This shrimp is pre-cooked, but we are still going to grill it a little bit and make it, taste a little bit better. We're gonna add a little bit of olive oil and some spices on top, just so that we can add it to the top of the dish once it's done. So I have my shrimp here. So this, I would say, is about 3 ounces. It's not much, but this is only gonna be for 1 serving. So that's why I didn't add a ton of shrimp on top. If you wanna make a larger serving, I would definitely double this up and maybe do 6 to 8 ounces of your protein. And again, that can be tofu, tempeh, it can be scallops are amazing. Chicken, steak, there are so many options that you can add for a protein source on top. Ground turkey is also great, and that's something that probably you wouldn't think of to add to this dish, but that's another good option. So we're heating up the other pan, and this one I am, just for the shrimp, we're gonna add a tiny bit of olive oil. And the reason why is because I always find that shrimp, even if you use cooking spray, shrimp does not cook the same if you don't add olive oil. So I always add just a tiny, tiny bit of olive oil when I cook something like shrimp, so that it makes it taste a little bit better, it cooks a little bit better, and it's just, you're gonna enjoy it more. So we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil to this pan, a tiny bit, and then we're gonna kind of just let it come around a little bit. All right, so this one, this is extra virgin organic olive oil. Okay, so we're gonna add our shrimp to the second pan, let it grill a little bit. All right. I know this looks like no food so far, but I promise it is. Guys, I am no master chef over here, but I have been eating clean, eating healthy, and trying out new recipes for the past 8 years, which sounds insane, but my family was really healthy. My mom used to make us like super clean food, so ever since I was little, I would always like ask my parents, is this healthy, is this healthy? And I would always experiment and try to make like super healthy stuff from when I was so much younger. So ever since then, I've been trying to like test things out, see what's quick, see what tastes good, and what gives me the most variation in my diet, because if you're someone who likes to eat clean, or maybe you're following a diet, you cannot eat the same things every day. And you might find something that you like, that's completely fine. But if you are following the exact same thing every single day, there's gonna be a point in time where you feel a little bit burnt out, you're sick of the things that you're eating, and you are gonna want something else. So this gives you some more variation. And again, you can switch up your vegetables, you can switch up your condiments that you use on top, you can switch up your protein sources. All of these things will make your food taste so much better with whatever clean eating or whatever diet plan, meal plan you want to follow. And that is my number one piece of advice, is to always switch up those types of things, switch up your healthy carbs. Everything like that will give you a ton of variation, so that you can always mix it up every day and you'll never get bored. So we are also, oh, here we go. Okay, so to this dish, we are also gonna add some garlic salt and some crushed red pepper. So I like to add some salt to my foods. I cannot eat dishes that are very low sodium. I need to add some salt, and it's also good for you. You need those electrolytes, especially if you're sweating a lot. You do need salt in your diet. A lot of people don't think you do, or they try to go low sodium. If you have a specific issue, go for it. But if you are someone who works out a lot, you sweat a lot, you drink a ton of water, go ahead and add some salt to your foods. That's completely fine. So we're gonna add some garlic salt here. This is actually mixing up pretty well, so I wanna make sure that I'm stirring it around. All right, so this actually looks good so far. Okay, and then we're gonna also add a little bit, tiny bit of crushed red pepper. Okay, and our shrimp is heating up. All right, so the next thing now it's time for the cauliflower. Bite it open. I was gonna get scissors. I don't know where they are right now. Okay, so we're gonna add our rice cauliflower to the pan. Don't need the whole thing. I'll add about 3/4 of the bag. All right, so we're gonna let that cook and stir it in. So you want to saute this around until it's soft, okay? So until it's a soft texture. So it's gonna take probably about 3 to 4 minutes, I want to say, and then it'll be done. So this is a very quick dish, as I mentioned before, and obviously if you have a smaller portion, it'll of course cook a little bit faster. So whatever you want to do is completely fine. Okay, and in the meantime, our shrimp is cooking, so I am a fan of garlic salt, as you can tell. I love it. So we're gonna add a little bit of garlic salt on top of our shrimp and also black pepper. So a little bit of garlic salt here, not too much. Okay, and then also get the black pepper. Here we go. A little bit of black pepper on top. I honestly love cooking healthy new meals. It's one of my favorite things to do. And a lot of people hate meal prepping because it takes forever, but things like this, you can save it for a couple of days, or at least, I mean, by the 3rd day it'll probably taste not the best, but at least for 2 days, and you can make a pretty big portion. And one thing that I recommend if you are dieting or if you're on a low carb diet, whatever it is, and some people aren't, and that's okay. If you are, I recommend choosing meals that are high volume. So that means that you will get more of a bang for your buck, I want to say. So you'll get a bigger portion for less calories. That's the best way to think of it. So basically, if you have a high veggie meal, so if you have a ton of vegetables are low calories, but it's going to look like you're eating a lot more food. It's going to fill you up more because of the fiber content, and it's going to make you feel fuller and more satisfied, and especially if you're adding protein, that'll keep you full. So things like this are a go-to if you are low carb, low calorie dieting. If you're not, then of course, different story. Go ahead and add some oil if you're not, if you prefer that, and add a different form of carb or add some, white or brown rice to this. Okay, so we're gonna mix this up. It'll probably be another, 1 to 2 minutes, and we'll continue on. So we're stirring it around, and then we're also gonna flip our shrimp. So again, the shrimp was already pre-cooked. If there's any chefs out there, you're probably gonna be like critiquing my cooking skills, but this is how I do it. It's the easiest way. So we're gonna flip it around. So this won't take too long. We're just heating it up again, as I mentioned. So it'll be done really soon. And I'm gonna mix it around. And if you guys ever have any questions about different recipes or different healthy snacks, I love that type of stuff. I love when people ask me that because it's so enjoyable for me to share the things that I've experimented with in the past and the things that have helped me, because I've been doing this for so long now, and I've never gotten bored with my food, and I'm so happy that I can say that. But of course there was a period in time where I was getting bored with my meals, and that's when I started really experimenting and switching things up and trying all these new dishes. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. Okay, so this part, so the cauliflower rice is getting pretty soft, so we're gonna go ahead and add green peas here. Okay, so I'll probably just add half of this. I don't think we need the whole thing. So we're gonna add some green peas to this. It's starting to smell really good. I feel like anytime you cook garlic and onions together, it smells amazing. I love it. So that's my favorite type of thing to mix with any dish, is onions and garlic. So we're mixing it around, and the shrimp is actually almost done, so we're gonna put that really low now. Kind of let it just simmer. And believe it or not, we're almost done with this. It's a very quick dish. And so like I mentioned, so one thing that you guys can do, so if you don't have, or maybe you don't like peas and you don't want carrots, let's say you don't want carrots, I recommend changing this into more of a stir fry, so maybe adding onions and peppers and cabbage or something like that, and then add whatever spices you want and add your protein. So it'd be more of a stir fry. That's another great variation. It's the exact same way to cook it. It's the exact same thing. You're just switching up the vegetables to make it different. So that's a good recommendation. And this is kid friendly. I have some younger clients who have tried this and they absolutely love it. So this is a great way to share a healthy dish with your family. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Oops. Don't drop things on the ground. Okay, so our shrimp is done, so I'm actually going to take that off in a second. All right, so the next thing we're doing is adding our eggs. So I have organic large brown eggs here. We're gonna add 2 eggs. And actually another thing that you can do, if you don't want the egg yolk, or maybe you don't like it, I do know some people that don't like egg yolk. I love it. But you can do egg whites. That's completely fine to add. It's very similar. So of course it tastes a little bit different, but if you want to do egg whites, go ahead. So we're gonna crack 2 eggs on the side. So I kind of just moved everything over, right? So we have 1, that over there. All right, and the second egg. Here we go. Okay, so now we're just gonna mix everything together. Mix everything together. It's getting close to being done, which is awesome. It takes no time at all. So kind of mixing everything. This is gonna be delicious. I'm excited for this. You can save this for lunch again, have it for dinner. One of my favorite things to make. Sauteing it around. All right, so next. Okay, so you can add soy sauce. Soy sauce is great to add, but I like using coconut aminos. It's like a sweet and salty flavor, I want to say. It is very similar to how soy sauce would be, but it's a little bit sweeter. And it is soy free. Okay, so if you're someone who doesn't like soy, doesn't want to have soy, soy free. Coconut aminos are awesome. I got this from Trader Joe's. You can get it at a lot of different locations. So we're gonna add that around. Okay, let it simmer. We're also, told you guys I liked garlic. We're gonna add some seasoned rice vinegar. Okay, this is roasted garlic flavor. We're gonna add it just a tiny bit. And this is only 4 grams of carbs. It's 15 calories for a tablespoon. We're gonna add a tiny bit of this to give it some more flavor. All right, a little bit more than I expected. It's gonna taste amazing though. Okay, then we're gonna mix it around even more. So good. And so one thing that I've seen a lot of people do with things like this or with fried rice is they'll add cheese. So if you like cheese, I know a lot of people do, you can add cheese to this. So I'm choosing not to. I actually try to stay away from dairy as much as I can because it does bloat me and it breaks me out a little bit. So I actually try to keep the dairy very limited. But if you are someone that likes to add cheese or you want to make it a little bit different, maybe just one night, go ahead and add it. I would add it, of course, after you cook it and just let it melt on. Okay, so this is almost done. All right. Okay, so I'm actually going to turn the pan off. It looks pretty much done. Hope you guys are still sticking with me. Okay, so in the meantime, I have some chives here. Okay, so I'm just going to chop up a tiny bit to add on top. I'm not the best chopper, so we'll do our best. All right, so a little bit of chives because we're gonna add it on top of the dish. Here, tiny bit. Okay, that should be good. It's just for me for right now, so don't need too much. All right. So I want to say, because I know a lot of people like to know what the calorie amount would be for something like this. So I would say with what we have, with the portion of shrimp, the 3 ounces of shrimp, we're going to probably only be eating, like I would say, because I'm going to have probably just a fourth of this. So it'd probably be about half an egg, I want to say. So this is around only 200 calories. It's very low calorie. And again, if you want to add, you can add avocado on top, you can add rice. There's so much you can do with this, which is really why I wanted to show you guys, because you can just make it completely different if you wanted to and add the cheese, avocado, whatever you want. But we're gonna do it this way. So we're done. So we're gonna scoop our portion out into a bowl. This looks so good. It smells even better. I wish you guys could smell it. It smells so good. Okay, we'll have a little bit more than a fourth. I am hungry. That's the thing about intermittent fasting, is when it hits like the noontime, you are hungry. So I actually needed a little bit more olive oil to cook this. See, with shrimp you do need a little bit extra, so we're gonna add a little on top. Okay, that should be good. Actually, a little bit more. All right. So both pans are off at this point. Make sure you turn the stove off. Okay, then we're gonna add our scallions on top here. So just like that. Okay, and last but not least, I'm gonna add a little bit, tiny bit, of sweet chili sauce. So I got this one at Trader Joe's. You can get it many places. You can get it at your local grocery store. I'm sure that they have it. So we're gonna add a little bit on top. Another good recommendation is adding something like teriyaki sauce, or if you wanna add a little bit of soy sauce, go for it. So we're gonna add a tiny bit on top. And I will show you guys just a little bit. Make it a little bit better. Okay, well, there's a little bit more than a little bit. It's gonna taste amazing though. Alright guys, and that's it. That was so quick. Get our fork. Alright, we have to do a taste test before we go. We'll get the shrimp in there. I hope it is perfect. It looks perfectly cooked. That's amazing. Check this out. It is so much better tasting than it looks. This is delicious. Alright, and again, you can put this in Tupperware if you wanted to and save it for a couple of days. If you want to have this for lunch, dinner, a snack, or to break your fast like I'm doing and have it more of like a brunch, go ahead. Any time of the day you want it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was super simple, super quick, and so easy to make. And again, switch it up if you want to. I said that a million times, but that's my main takeaway with this, is that you can really do whatever you want with it. And that's why it's so cool to make things like this, stir fries. You can do whatever you want to mix it up. So my name is Annie Cooper. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Tune Into Fitness if you want to see more recipes, more videos, workout tips, things like that. And I will see you guys next time.